In this video, I will tell you everything you need to know about setting up a business bank account, so stay tuned. How's it going, everybody? Hoping everyone's having an awesome day today. My name is Connor, and here at the From Fault to Freedom channel, we're all about giving you the tools and knowledge that you need to accomplish your goals and succeed in your entrepreneurship journey. If any of that interests you, be sure to click the subscribe button to see new videos every week. So you've just started your Amazon FBA business. You may have even set up an LLC and you're ready to set up a bank account for your business. Finding the right bank for you is so crucial for setting up your business because you need to make sure you get all the services and options, and you don't want to have that many fees associated with to make sure you get everything that you need out of your bank. Now stop what you're doing. Before even looking at a bank's website, before doing anything else associated with a bank account, you need to have an EIN number. You cannot open up a bank account with only your social security number, even if you happen to be a single member LLC or you're kind of the only person running your business. In order to set up a bank account for an LLC or any other business entity, you do need to have an EIN number for that. Now, if you watched my last video, episode 4 of FBA Fridays right here, you should already have your LLC and filed it with InkFile or another provider. However, if you do not have an EIN number, we'll quick go through that right now. Now, getting an EIN number is very easy. You should not have to pay someone else to do it. I've seen stuff with $50 or $60 to get it for you. You should not need to do this. It is completely free if you live within the United States. All you have to do is go out to irs.gov and you're looking for Form SS4. And all you're really doing is kind of filling out the basic paperwork. There is also online services between Monday and Friday if you want to do that as well. But all you're really doing is you're filling out the form, getting it sent to them, or walking through it with the representative and getting it sent out. It'll be completely free of charge, and then you'll be the new owner of an EIN. One quick note with that is you will need to have your social security number ready to go when you're filling that out. So if you by chance don't have a social security number, or perhaps you live outside the United States, you'll need some other form of identification or ID number in order to fill that out. But there will be resources on irs.gov to help you out with that. For those of you that do have an EIN number, be sure to keep watching because there are a few things to consider when choosing your bank account and actually getting it set up. So the very first thing to be aware of is the monthly maintenance fee that'll be on your business bank account. And typically this really isn't that bad. It's roughly between kind of $10 and $50. So per month really isn't that bad. But there are different ways that potentially banks can waive this cost. And a lot of it usually boils down to either having a minimum balance of X number of dollars or taking in X amount of dollars of receipts or kind of cash coming in, something like that as well. And kind of really what the banks are going for is the more money that kind of you can give them or kind of keep with them, the better, and then they'll give you perks back with that. So if you look at an example with this, we have Bank of America that has a $17 per month fee. And basically what they'll do is they have a couple different options. So if you either spend $250 of new purchases using read the fine print using one of their debit or credit cards, then they'll waive the fee, or you maintain a monthly balance of $5,000 or a daily balance of $3,000. They have a couple different options with that, but this is very common to see with different banks is they want to kind of keep as much money with them for their lending purposes, and then they'll give you a little bonus of $10 or $20 back by waiving that monthly. So the next big thing to be aware of is the maximum number of transactions that you can have per month without a fee. And really what this correlates to is what you're going to see with all the different bank accounts you take a look at. You're going to see, okay, 100 transactions cost free or 200 transactions without a fee, things like that. But you got to read the fine print on what it'll cost eventually after that. Because when you're starting out, I mean, Amazon's going to pay you, I think it's bi-weekly, something like that. You maybe will make kind of seldom once a month, maybe 2 times per month payments to your suppliers. You might have a couple debit card or credit card transactions, but it's really not going to be too much to begin with. However, eventually, once you kind of maybe outsource a couple more things, you're paying all the people you outsource, a couple more transactions, maybe you're expanding into more products, then you're going to have a lot more transactions funneling through. and it'll start to kind of creep up on you where you might reach that threshold and exceed it. And if that does happen, a lot of times they will have a fee ranging from anywhere from a few cents to maybe even up to $1 per transaction. So you will want to keep track of that and kind of read where that cutoff is and what that additional cost will be. Now, if we look at kind of Chase Bank here, is with their lower tier bank account, is what they have is 100 transactions per month at no charge, plus unlimited electronic deposits. So kind of what they do is they let you know, okay, here's how many you can do for free, but then it kind of wants to take you away from that thought because they're required to tell you that on kind of what's free, what's not. But they kind of want to lead you where it's only 100 plus, oh, we have all this other free stuff. So you would want to take a look at what that actual additional cost is, what that threshold happens to be, to see if either you might be regularly hitting that, in which case you might want to have a bank that has a few more transactions per month free of charge, or if it's really not that bad of a cost and you see the other benefits, but it is something to definitely take a look at. Now, another thing that you might run into, this is typically more for the bigger banks, but it's having a minimum deposit in your bank account and a minimum maintenance amount. And really what that kind of correlates to is either when you're opening the bank account, you can have a minimum of, let's say, $1,000 in order to open it. If you don't have that, they won't allow it. Or it's once you do establish it, you have to keep that minimum balance, or they'll charge you a fee for that, which I always find a little ironic is that the people that kind of need the most help that don't have enough money usually get charged more in fees, and that never really helps the process. It's kind of the bank kind of wanting, again, more money for them to do with it, and they'll give more perks to the people that give more money to them. So if we look at BMO here, we do see that there is a minimum $100 deposit, which if you're starting a bank account, you should, for a business, have more than $100, so it really shouldn't be that bad. But it is something to keep in mind is they do need a minimum opening deposit of $100 with that. Another thing that might seem minor, but it is going to come into play with Amazon, is foreign transaction fees. So a lot of times you're going to be finding your products from suppliers overseas, and since they're outside of the country, you might have some banks that charge foreign transaction fees. So you will want to keep that in mind because all banks, or at least for kind of the lower tier starting bank accounts for businesses, are going to have wire transfer fees, so anywhere from like $20 to $40. But if you also have foreign transaction fees off of a certain percentage on top of that, that can start to add up after a while. So you will want to keep in mind that if they have that, you kind of want to factor that in because usually that's not something that they take away. That's always constant. Now, the last big thing that I take a look at is hours of operation. Because if they are not open at times where you can access it, that bank does you zero good. So, for example, I was looking at a couple banks in my hometown, and there were a couple that pretty much matched my current work schedule. Is they opened at 8, they closed at 5, and they weren't open on weekends. So that does me zero good because the only way I'd be able to talk with a representative or make a deposit or anything like that, assuming no online banking, is I would have to take time out of my lunch to go do that. And that is a major inconvenience because then I have less time for that and I have to focus on this versus maybe doing a quick stop after work or something like that. So the bank that I chose did have some convenient hours where on Thursday and Friday they were open till 6 o'clock, so I had that 1 hour time span. Plus they did have additional hours on the weekend. So ultimately you're going to choose the bank that best fits your situation. But another thing to keep in mind is that a lot of banks do have different tiers, so kind of what they'll have is like a beginning tier for like low monthly transaction amounts, kind of businesses that are starting up. But eventually, if you do have to kind of grow the size of your business, add more products, things like that, is they do have abilities to have like different tiers for that. So maybe you have like $10,000 of revenue coming in, so they have another tier for that with a couple more benefits, a couple more options. Then one that goes up to $50,000 or $100,000 is they have even greater perks for that. So kind of you might also want to keep that in mind. Again, it's not huge for your starting bank account, but if you foresee your business growing, it is nice to have those additional perks and those different growth options within your bank. So the bank that I chose to go with was a local credit union that is pretty much 5 minutes away from my house. It's nice and close. It's actually on the drive back from work. And I really liked it. The people were really nice, and really everything was kind of included with it. There was a $10 monthly fee, which I really didn't mind. That's only $120 per year, which is very manageable. But there were zero transaction fees. There were zero kind of foreign transaction fees. They included free debit card, which, to be honest, I will use it sometimes, but it's not going to be my go-to. I'm going to get a business credit card, which be sure to click the next week's video where I'll go through the process for that. But it had online banking, it had text alerts, it had a lot of different services that I did want, all free of charge. So really all I'm doing is I'm paying $10 a month, and that's really all I need to maintain that bank. Otherwise, everything else is included. Now, don't leave yet. You'll want to know what you need to actually verify and open up your bank account. So once you have decided on a bank, the first thing you want to do is call up and set an appointment. If you're a little uncomfortable, if you're a little bit more introverted, just do it. You're a business person. You can do this. I believe in you. But that'll actually help the process out a lot more as well, because if you can call them up, what I actually did was I scanned in some of the verification documents ahead of time, and then they were able to prep the paperwork. So all I had to do was sit down for 5 minutes, sign like 50 different pieces of paper, but then everything was done, everything was completed. It only took 5 to 10 minutes for that actual meeting, and then I had my bank account set up and going. So the 5 things that I needed for verification was, for one, I needed a photo ID, so I just used my driver's license. That's perfectly okay. I also needed proof of address, which I did not have on my driver's license because the one that was on there was from 5 years ago, and I've moved a couple times since then. So what I used was my electric utility bill. That works out just fine. Or if you have a government document or kind of any other like official document from like a reputable company or source, that's what you can use for verifying your address. And then what they also wanted was, since I did form an LLC, it wanted the articles of organization, kind of like the official document that's saying, yes, this is a legitimate LLC. And then what they also wanted was proof that I did have an EIN number, employer identification number. Again, see that form SS4 before if you don't have one. And then the last thing that I needed, which you might also need as well, is your social security numbers. I think they had to do a credit check or something, kind of making sure that I didn't have any outstanding debts. So you will want to have those 5 things available so you can get your bank account ready to go when you do that appointment. So then one last final point is the last thing you'll have for your appointment is you will want to bring in either a personal check or some cash or something like that to at least establish your bank account and kind of put a deposit in there. Even if it's not technically required, it's good to just have that, because they might have maybe like a $5 kind of almost like a security deposit, so to speak, just to kind of keep the account open. So if you have $20, $10, or just write a personal check, or even if you have your cashier's check from your other personal bank account to actually put into the business, that'll all work, and then you'll be all good to go and you'll be funded for your business. So thank you for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed it or got any value out of this, be sure to click the thumbs up button and subscribe so you can see more of the FBA series for Amazon. And comment below, let me know and kind of let others know what bank account you chose, and then what specifically were the services or reasons why you chose that bank account, so you can help others decide. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.